Hey guys, Mr. Awe here, and this is probably the last thing we're going to do as far as elimination goes, so it's very important that you understand how to do every single problem in this homework. So let's get started. Number one says substitute -1 for y in the second equation. So after you read the example, this is the first equation, this is the second equation. It says substitute -1 for y in the second equation from the example. Do you still get x equals -4? So that second equation is 2x minus 5y equals -3. So we're substituting -1 for y. So we're substituting -1 for y. So I have 2x minus 5 times -1 equals -3. So that gives me 2x. Negative times negative is going to give me a positive. So that's going to be a positive 5 equals -3. I'm going to subtract by 5 on both sides. So I'm going to get 2x equals -8. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides to get rid of that coefficient. I will get x equals -4. So x is -4. And do you still get x equals -4? I will tell them yes, we still do get x equals -4. Number 2 says, one student began to solve the example problem by multiplying the second equation by 0.5. Would that work? So we're still dealing with elimination. So we have two equations, -x plus 3y equals 1. And the second equation is 2x minus 5y equals -3. Okay, so if I was trying to eliminate this myself, I would multiply this one by 2. But this student multiplied the second equation by 0.5. So we're trying to see if that works. Remember, whatever you multiply it, you have to multiply the entire equation, not just that variable you're trying to eliminate. So 0.5 times 2 is saying half of 2, which is 1x, or just x. Half of 5 is 2.5. So I have 2.5y equals half of -3 is 1.5, so that'll be -1.5. Let me write my first equation down again, so it'll be -x plus 3y equals 1. So it's asking me if this works. So that's saying positive x minus -x should be 0, so I'm able to eliminate this. So that's why that works. Multiplying both that second equation by 0.5 also works, because I'm able to eliminate one of the variable, which is x. So this is the thing with elimination, and you all might use a lot of different numbers. Like I would have just multiplied that first equation by or just by 2, and that would have helped me eliminate this x also. But this student multiplied that second equation by 0.5, and that worked also. Number 3 says, which equation would you multiply to get the opposite coefficient for one of the variables in this system? What number would you multiply that equation by? What would the new equation be? Okay, so the first part says, which equation would you multiply to get the opposite coefficient? So I would multiply this second equation by -5, so I can get the opposite coefficient. So I have 5 plus -5. Question number 2 says, what number would you multiply? And I said -5. And what would the new equation be? So I'm multiplying the second equation by -5, so it'll be -2x plus y equals 2 multiplied by -5. Okay? -2x plus y equals 2 multiplied by -5. So -5 times -2 will give me positive 10x. -5 times y will give me -5y. -5 times 2 will give me -10. Okay? So that's what the new equation would be. You can pause right there if you need to get that down. So 10x minus 5y equals -10. Moving on to question number 4. Question number 4 says, use elimination to solve the system of equation. Check your solution. So we're using elimination, and we're trying to solve the system of equation. When we're using elimination, you got to remember the first thing you're looking to do is to eliminate one of the variables. So if you can't eliminate one of the variables right off the bat, you're trying to come up with a number that you can multiply one of the equation by, or even both of the equation by, so you can eliminate one of the variables. So when I'm looking at this variable, as soon as I see this 4 and 2x, they're the same sign. Both of them are positive. But the y variable, I have positive 3 and negative 1. So if I multiply the second equation by negative, or just by 3, that'll give me 3y and negative 3y. So that way I would be able to eliminate it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply that second equation by 3. So my first equation is 4x plus 3y equals 6. My second equation is 2x minus y equals negative 2. So we're going to multiply that by 3. Okay. So if I'm multiplying this by 3, that'll be 3 times 2x, which is 6x. I'm just rewriting that first equation so I can line them up properly. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative y would be negative 3y. And 3 times negative 2 would be negative 6. All right? So I have 4x plus 6x, which is 10x. This is going to cancel out because 3y plus negative 3y cancels out. And I have 6 plus negative 6. 6 plus negative 6 will give me 0. So I have 10x equals 0. I'm going to divide by 10 on both sides. That's going to give me x equals 0 divided by 10, which is 0. So my x value is 0, but I got to find my y value. So I'm going to plug in my x value into one of the equations to get my y, and solve for y to get my y value. So I'm going to do 4. If I'm using that first equation, it's 4x. So instead of x, I'm putting 0 plus 3y equals 6. 4 times 0 is 0. So I get 3y equals 6. I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides to get that to get rid of that coefficient. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my x is 0 and my y is 2. So the solution to the system of equation is 0, 2. All right. That is it for question number 4. Question number 5 says, Becca says that she can use elimination to solve the system of equation at the right if she multiply either of the equation by negative 1. Do you agree with Becca? So she's trying to eliminate one of the variables, and she thinks she can eliminate one of them by multiplying it by negative 1. And I agree because of this 3x. Both of them are positive, but if I multiply one of them by negative 1, let's say I multiply this first one by negative 1, it would be negative 3x. And then so I have negative 3x plus 3x, which was 0, which means I can eliminate this x variable. Okay? So do I agree with Becca? I'll tell him yes, and I'll tell him why is because if I multiply the first one by negative 1, it will let me eliminate the x variable. Question number 6 says, use elimination to find the solution of the system in problem 5. So now all we're really doing is just solving problem 5. So we said we were going to multiply that first equation by negative 1. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so I'm multiplying this first equation by negative 1. So, by negative 1. So I'll do negative 1 times 3x, which is negative 3x. Negative 1 times 2y, which is negative 2y. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And I'm going to write my second equation, 3x plus 4y equals negative 5. I'm going to add them up. Negative 3x plus 3x is 0, so this eliminates. That cancels out. Negative 2y plus 4y is 2y. And 1 plus negative 5, 1 plus negative 5 is going to be negative 4. So I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides to get rid of that coefficient. Y is going to be negative 2. So that's my y. I still need to find my x, right? So I'm going to substitute my y value into one of the equations to get my x. I'm going to use the second equation right here. So that second equation is 3x plus 4 times y now is negative 2 equals negative 5. 3x plus, or it would be minus now because it's 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So 3x minus negative 8 equals negative 5. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. That'll give me 3x equals negative 5 plus 8 is just 3. I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. I'll get x equals 1. So the solution to this system of equation, it would be 1, comma, because my y is negative 2. So this would be the solution to number 6. All right, we're almost there. Number 7 says the value of x in a system of equation at the right is negative 2. What is the value of a? Use elimination to solve this problem. So the value of x is negative 2. What is the value of a? Okay. So just by looking at this equation, I can already see that I can eliminate the variable y, right? Because positive 4 minus 4 is just 0. So I can eliminate this. So let's go ahead and eliminate that. I have ax plus 4y equals 6. 2x minus 4y equals negative 16. All right. I can eliminate this, so I'm going to go ahead and scratch that out, eliminate it. So I have ax plus 2x. Now, so I'm going to say ax plus 2x, because a is not a coefficient, it's not a number. A coefficient has to be a number. A is not a number, so I can't say ax plus 2x is 3x or something like that. So that's why I'm rewriting it like this. Ax plus 2x, because I can't add a and 2 together. Equals 6 plus negative 16 would be negative 10. All right. Now, they told us that the value for x was negative 2. So I'm going to rewrite this with the value for x, which is negative 2. So a times negative 2 plus 2 times negative 2 equals negative 10. All right. A times negative 2 would be negative 2a. 2 times negative 2 would be negative 4 equals negative 10. I will add 4 to both sides. So I have negative 2a equals negative 10 plus 4 will be negative 6. I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. So I have a equals negative 6 divided by negative 2 should just be 3. So the value for a is just 3. And that's it for homework for tonight. If you still have any questions about elimination tomorrow, ask me. And if you need any extra credit work before a progress report comes out, let me know. I have a quiz that deals with elimination that you can do for extra credit work. All right. Have a good night, guys.